And so we have with us our two more than capable speakers, the founder of Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Nigeria, Dr. Olusola Ayoola, and very Reverend Professor Anthony Alabakinwale, who are more than capable to deal with this topic from different angles, both from the scientific angle and also from the ecclesial angle. And so without much ado, I hand over the microphone to our first speaker, Dr. Olusola Ayoola, who is to speak to us on the role of artificial intelligence in Africa in comprehensive analysis. Dr. Please.
The national president of NACATHS, the delegates and members from sister seminaries and Institute of Theology, seminarians, ladies and gentlemen. It's a profound honor and privilege for me to stand before you at the 35th National Convention of NACATHS. And the topic is a very interesting one. The other day I was listening to a cleric who said, she said, AI is a fallen angel. I said, okay. She said, AI is a demon sent from hell. I said, okay. Isn't it okay? It is okay to be scared if you are not conversant or you are surprised by the magic that seems to be evolving in our space today. Or is it not surprising that a computer system with nobody inside of it can say hello to you, and then you respond and it says, how are you? And then you say, hey, don't talk to me. And it says, oh, I'm sorry. How? How is this happening? Just like one of my students some years ago, when I said to him, do you know how ATM machines work? He said, yes. His mother told him that someone is inside the machine. And the person closes at midnight and somebody takes over. And I'm like, in that small machine? He said, yes, the person is inside. And one day he saw someone come out of the person was sweating. I said, they only went to fix it. But you see, the easiest way to avoid problems, which we think we are doing, or should we say avoid progress, which is the reality, is to run away from it when you don't understand it. And that is very evident in our Nollywood versus Hollywood. In Nollywood, Chike or Auntie Joy or Auntie Lara hears a sound in the kitchen by 1 a.m. in the midnight, and they run away saying, God, 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 God. But then in Hollywood, Jack or Laura hears a sound in the kitchen, a scary sound by 1 a.m., and they go closer to the kitchen saying, hello, is anyone there? And we start saying, won't you run? But that's because the mindset must be trained that when you don't understand something, seek to understand it, demystify it, take over and conquer it. That makes you a warlord. And in times like this, whether it's evil or good, you need to take over, dominate it, and decide for yourself how to use it. For us in Africa, we lost out in some other revolutions, the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution. But this is now a data revolution, the AI world. And we must own the narrative and we must take it. So we dare to ask, what is this thing called AI? Bring it, it's our turn. Or shall I say, our local. Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the topic in front of us is very interesting, and I would like you to be patient with me as I've been told to deliver a comprehensive analysis, which means that we will try to dissect as quickly as we can every vital component of AI and its role in Africa. But you would agree with me that technology did not just start today. Over time, we have witnessed growth from riding horses to driving cars to flying aeroplanes, and now we're about to think of space travels. And the benefit, the thing is that technology has consistently tried to make life easier, to ease the burdens of us. And so when I think of technology, I ask myself, what is the impact in the local communities? It's easy for us to dismiss AI and say, why should AI take over our jobs? Doctors will lose, patients, lawyers will lose clients. But think about the rural areas where they don't even have doctors. So is AI taking over somebody's job there? Or is providing an alternative? Think about courtrooms where you have to stand before judges and then AI comes to provide some form of arbitration. Is it taking over the judge's job? No. So we think of technology as a comforter. But at the same time, we know that technology is like a sword. with two edges. It's like a coin with two sides. It all depends on whose hand it's in, whether it shall be for good or for bad. Because the same way technology has brought solutions to malaria, which in the olden days was a thing attributed to sorcery. When people die of malaria, they say, they have caught this person. And then technology came and found out that no, we can treat it with some of these medicines. We've also seen how technology in the area of communication and internet has brought families closer. You can have a family member far away in China and still communicate on phone, even video calls. And as we are getting to it now, virtual reality, where you'll be able to wear a pair of goggles and seem like the person is right in front of you. But at the same time, we have seen technology cause destructions of lives and properties with weapons of mass destruction. We've also seen the emission of harmful greenhouse gases that threatens our global climate today. So, while I must tell you that we can claim to be in control, we are entering into a time that is very, very unprecedented with the advent of artificial intelligence. And why do I say this? All the previous technology growths we've had have been by humans after deep research and meetings and all of that. They have been approved by human beings. But now we are entering a narrative where machines are the ones deciding for us. It is so interesting that even the president of OpenAI, when delivering a speech some time ago, said that ChatGPT, and I'm just using that as one example, is so capable of many things. When you release a software, it's your job to test it. They call it beta testing. You will test to see if it's perfect, or if there are errors, you fix it. But he said, how can they do beta testing for ChatGPT when there is so much it is capable of that even they themselves do not know its limit yet? What does that mean? It means that they expect when you discover a fault, you report to them. Oh, it gave a wrong answer to this, so they can fix it. Because by themselves, if they are to study its faults, to fix everything, they would never be able to finish that. So it means it's just like a kind of vaccine being released to the society, hoping that posterity would tell whether it was positive or not. And so with this narrative that we are entering, which is fueled by accessibility to data, which I will talk about later, we now have a high avalanche of data in wide varieties, and also supported by open source knowledge exchange. In the past, you would need to buy textbooks to study, to understand how to do this or that. Now you can just be on your phone, go on YouTube or Coursera or any platform, and learn how to become a web developer, how to become a software developer, or even how to build a hardware system by yourself. It is this avalanche of data and ease of communication with knowledge sharing that has brought about the growth we see today in AI. But AI, like I said, technology did not start today, but AI even did not start today. It's been in existence since 1956, even at a time when the true potential was not known. It is now predicted that in the next 5 years, AI would have contributed $15 trillion to the world's global economy. And that is concentrated to benefit nations that are positioned for it: China, USA. So the question is, where is Africa in all of this? The fundamental reliance of AI on real-life data and its expanding application across almost all facets of life: transportation, healthcare, engineering, education, agriculture, security, governance, underscores a global competition for access to people's data. There is no way China, for example, can use AI to understand Africa if they don't get data from Africa. There is no way the US can understand what we are doing, what to do, how to use AI to deal with us, to relate with us, if they don't have data from us. So data now is what the entire world is scrambling for. But is that difficult to get? No. Because the owners of your phones have access to your data. WhatsApp, for example, does not charge you for it. But WhatsApp shares data with Facebook, owned by the same company. Google Drive, Google Photos, Google Email, everything, Google has the data. Microsoft Word, Microsoft Azure. In fact, you don't have to use AI for AI to use you. Because if you have a bank account, the bank stores your data either on Amazon or Microsoft or Google's platform. So all your withdrawals, your deposits, your transactions is data for someone, for a global giant. And so, protecting the rights of data owners, acknowledging that AI programs can be used for good or evil, and recognizing that global disparity in AI expertise makes conscious effort imperative for guiding AI's advancement, deployment, and safety. The goal is to ensure society benefits primarily from its positive impact, and that's what we refer to as responsible AI across all sectors. Let me say this. We will talk about data, but let's assume your data is given to maybe a layman, and the same data is given to an AI expert. The layman having your data may not know what to do with it, so he's harmless. But in the other hand, of the person who's an expert, that data is a weapon. So without enough education, you may not know what risk is present in allowing others access data belonging to you. We have seen technical breakthroughs in AI globally, like large language models such as ChatGPT, which I'm sure we are familiar with, Gemini, Llama on your WhatsApp, computer vision applications in surveillance. Many CCTV cameras today use AI. Whether they share the information with you or not, they use AI. And of course, social media platforms uses AI as well. You upload a video on YouTube and immediately they strike it down and say, no, you are using somebody's music without approval, without permission, or you are displaying pictures that you should have no right to display. Because AI quickly scans all your data in the video, extracts what it needs to extract. So there is no hiding place really. It's also being used for targeted advertisements now. You discuss maybe on your phone about something you wish you can afford, and then you start seeing adverts about it. And you're like, how did they know? Well, because you have, at one point in time or the other, mentioned it. However, this hasn't always translated into direct economic advancement for our people in Africa, risking Africa becoming merely a source of raw data for global AI development without fully benefiting from the refined products. The other day, Sam Altman, the owner of ChatGPT, OpenAI, was in Nigeria, I think 2 years ago, and I was among those who received him in Lagos. And we had a roundtable discussion, and he was like, what do we need in Africa? What do we need OpenAI to do so it can help our growth? And then most people said, the cost is too high, bring it down, reduce the cost, $20 is too much, we don't have much money in Africa. And then he said, even if we bring the price down, there will always be a latest version, another latest version that will just be higher than the lowest price. So we just have to keep adjusting. Then I said, why not have a model that says the more we contribute data to OpenAI, the cheaper our subscription will be, so that for those who contribute data, it's almost like an incentive, like giving them free. So that was the conversation he wanted us to take forward. But that's just because we want to not be a source of raw data alone, but to also benefit fully from the refined product. The heavy reliance on overseas cloud platforms means critical data assets are often stored abroad, allowing for unfettered cross-border data exchange. Now, what we're talking about here is this. As long as you continue to use apps that are not owned, even if it's an African app, that are not hosted locally, your data is not within your control. Governments must find a way to control data of Nigerians stored abroad, overseas, even when they are not within our borders. And there are ways to do that. The government is looking at that already, using the idea of data encryption, which I'm spearheading. Now, crucially, AI's ultimate impact is felt when it demonstrates locally relevant domain knowledge. So I won't say we are benefiting from AI unless AI understands our conversations, our languages, our faces, our pictures. You see someone trying to do object detection, face recognition using AI, and the AI cannot recognize or identify blacks because it doesn't have enough data trained that are blacks. So we have to make sure it is local. The same thing with our languages, our accents, and the words we say. Each nation and community must understand, demystify, build, and deploy AI to solve its specific problems. And that brings us to the crucial question: what is the role of AI for Africa? I would like to address this under 8 question tags. Number 1, what is data? What is AI? How do we recognize when to apply AI? Where do Africa's challenges fit in this discussion? What is our SWOT analysis, our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? How do we leapfrog? How do we scale over barriers or obstacles? How do we address the fears in our community? And finally, where do we see Africa in the next 100 years? Well, I need to be brief because I think I have, let's say, 30 minutes or so. So I'm just going to jump. I've left my speech with the organizing team so they can share it with you later. When it comes to data, the future belongs to those who see data where others see jargons, confusion. You go to a shopping mall, sir, your receipt, drop it. You write, there's one university in Nigeria, I don't want to mention their name. Just search for any of their past students' names. You will see all the assignments the students submitted with handwriting. I'm sure they must have, and it's on their portal, but it's not secured, so it's available for anybody to scrape. What this means is that they must have said, submit your assignments on the portal. But then, handwriting of someone is data. Just a year ago, one of our researchers built a handwriting verification system so that once it sees your handwriting, it can tell it is you that wrote it. So that we know people's signature, we know people's handwriting, if they're the ones that write something. And this data, I was saying, we need to contact WAEC to collect data about people's handwritings. I'm sure they have loads of that. But then what's the point when a university has it already on this platform? If I can have access to it, I imagine the platform owner, the host of those sites. But your name, your age, location, history, your account activities, when you spend, when you don't spend, the time you go out, the times you don't go out, your discussions, your worries, concerns, your views, which of course, if I go through your Google search history, I already know your worries. How can I afford this? How can I fly from this to this? How long does it take from going from here to there? All these things, your shopping list, your food preferences, all of these details define who you are as a person. And this is what we call data. Your picture, your voice, the words you are used to saying. If I turn away from you and you're talking and I can recognize who that is, then that means your voice is already enough for me. That's data I can feed AI to try to understand. So data is power, it's a tool and a weapon. The future belongs to those who see data where others see jargons. As we interact with our increasingly smart world daily, through mobile applications on our phones, internet browsing, social media, emails, and virtual meetings, we generate massive amounts of digital data. You know why I paused when I said virtual meetings? You cannot imagine how many high-profile government meetings are held on Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. Even in the US, at one point they mistakenly invited a journalist to join their meeting, high-level meeting. And then we all want to believe it's private. They don't have interest. They don't need to be interested in your meetings. AI will let them know when you say the wrong thing. Like somebody was telling me, you go to a country like Saudi Arabia, and you mistakenly just, while conversing with your friend, just mention Osama bin Laden, they will pick you up immediately. Because there is AI listening to every conversation. They don't need to be interested in you. But when you give out the data that makes them interested, you will know AI was processing everything all along. So that is about data. So what is AI? And I'm glad the rector has already explained what AI is. But let me just say that AI is the ability of a computer program to mimic the human brain, whatever the human brain can do. And we need to understand that the human brain is very, very potential, has high potentials. You see someone and you recognize the person, that's AI. AI can do that. You can hear the voice and understand what the person is saying, that's AI. And there are several aspects of AI that deal with each of these things. This is achieved by collecting and processing vast volumes of data, whether structured or unstructured. And this is the scary part. Structured data is when somebody says, okay, names of people, their ages, their date of birth, their occupation, their house rents, where they live, and so on. That's structured. Unstructured is just send all the things you know, all the documents they have published. From the documents they have published, we can already infer or analyze and see their thought process, how they think. So even when it's not structured, as simple as you clicking on the website, there were 3 pictures in front of you. You clicked on one, you didn't click on the second one. I don't need to be told. That means I now know your interest. I can position 20 pictures so that if you pick this and you pick this or this and this, I can already tell the kind of person you are. That is data. You don't need to even understand what it's doing. So this continually updated data, which we use to train AI, is computationally analyzed for pattern recognition, leading to the development of a trained model. We call it model. I don't know how many of you love mathematics. Please, if you love mathematics, can I see your hand up? Only one person, 2. Okay, because I knew I couldn't go deep into how AI works because you'd just be bored. But please, do you at least remember primary school, secondary school, when they taught you simultaneous equation? Good. In a simultaneous equation problem, they will give you 2x plus 3y equals 7. 4x minus 2y equals 8. Find x and y. That kind of question. Trying to find the x and y that agrees with equation 1 and equation 2 is me trying to find out the person's behavior or the person's identity, such that in this scenario, in this other scenario, that identity remains the same. What is that thing that remains the same every time? You go to the market, they tell you, this thing is 20 naira, you shout, equation 1. You go to the church, they tell you, please donation, you say, equation 2. I will now try, then you now go to the, maybe supermarket. You want to buy one wristwatch. They tell you the price, okay, equation 3. From equation 1, 2, and 3, your personality has not changed. It was the scenarios that were changing. X and Y is your personality. So, simultaneous equation, find the personality of the person that behaves like this in equation 1, like this in equation 2, and like this in equation 3. Now, break X and Y to vectors. That means that it's not just a data now. It's not just one number. It's a string of numbers. Then we are still talking of mathematics, but that is what AI is calculating. And as human beings, we will use 700 full-scale papers to solve that kind of problem. But the computer will just run it in 1 minute and say this is the answer. It was when computers became very capable that someone now said, okay, all this complex mathematics, let's give it and see how quickly we can get the result. And that's why we now found out that, okay, computers can easily understand those, easily interpret what we are saying. Let me say that despite recent breakthroughs, the world is largely still at the level of narrow AI. No matter what you are saying today, whether it's able to understand your voice and converse with you, it is still narrow AI. We still have general AI and super AI that we are heading to. AI that is narrow is an AI that is designed for a specific task. We are rapidly moving towards general AI, which will match human general awareness, and eventually super AI, which some believe poses a threat due to its capabilities that are beyond human comprehension. So, we are still at narrow AI. I can break that down if you ask questions later. There are 2 main classes of AI: predictive AI and generative AI. All the things you see online, ChatGPT and co, that's just generative AI. It is all trying to see if AI can generate ideas, generate voice, audio, generate texts, generate pictures and videos, as if it had a mind of its own. And how do we create generative AI? We simply build two models. There is one model that tries to produce images, rubbish image. For example, if we're talking of images now, produces any type of image, rubbish. Then another model that tries to detect what that image is. So let's say the computer, one model, when I say a model, it's a program, it's just one software, produces something that is just rubbish, not a picture of a person. And then this other model says, I can't see a person here, because it has been trained already to recognize people. This other one will adjust what it has designed and change again to another image and present to this other one. The other one will still say, I can't see a person here. But this one will never repeat the same step. So it will change something it was doing in its model to produce another kind of image until this one begins to say, I can see a human being here, but 75% like a human being. Then this will improve its own again. This one will say, I can see 85%. This will improve its own again until this begins to show images that this other one agrees is the correct image of the person. Then whatever model this one used, it will continue to use it. And that's because there are two things in a picture: the static and the dynamic. What is always static about a human being's picture? Maybe the shape of the head or the position of the head to the neck, to the chest and all of that. What is dynamic? The look. It might be the distance between your eyeballs, it might be the distance of your nose, the length of your nose, and the breadth of your nose. It could be whether you have cheeks or you don't have cheeks, or you have dimples and so on. Those may be dynamic, but certain things are static. So the ability to model the static continuously while playing around with the dynamic is what makes these other components of the model realize that, yes, you now have an image generation capability. It's for text, it's for videos, images, and so on. But the other part of AI that we don't really talk about is the predictive AI. And please allow me to break that down. Predictive AI is the one the banks will use to either approve or deny you a loan when they collect your data. When they collect your age, your education, your job, your salary income, your income, your house rent, your responsibilities, it can determine whether you will pay back that loan or whether that loan is just too high. It is the truth. The same thing with human resources when they are recruiting people. So the point I'm making is that predictive AI can infer what you are going to do before you do it. It was predictive AI they used in building generative AI. Predictive AI starts from data analytics, when we try to collect data and process the data. And like I said before, data collection happens on your mobile phones, on your apps, on your computers. We have the implicit and the explicit data collection. Explicit data collection means that you are told they want to collect your data. You are given a form to fill. You may lie in the form and they wouldn't know. So we don't really use explicit data collection. Implicit means that you don't even know data is being collected. It could be from your everyday chat. It could be from the way you use your computer. You open this site, you didn't open that other site. Then the site you open tell me who you are. And that is data that can be used to train a model. You learn Python programming to analyze data and then, of course, to process the data. Now we move to machine learning, where we have supervised and unsupervised. Supervised means that you give it data sets and say, these data points are inputs. This is the output I want to understand next time. So if I give you the input of somebody, please give me the output. That's supervised. It will try to understand the relationship between all these inputs and the output. Unsupervised means that I don't know what is my input, I don't know what's my output. I'll just give you data about everybody. And then the computer tries to understand what is peculiar to some group and not peculiar to other groups. So that way it can categorize us very quickly and understand our uniqueness. I don't want to go too deep into that, but then we have deep learning, computer vision, when the computer can see a picture and understand what's going on in the picture. We use that for so many things. Either it's for security or access control or detecting when there's a problem. With computer vision, for instance, you can see fire and know you're seeing fire. The computer will interpret the picture very quickly. You can see people fighting and the computer knows they are fighting because of the movement within the frame of the pictures, and so on. AI models are trained using numerous computational methods within the field of data analytics, science, machine learning, deep learning, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to go too deep into what AI is. I want to deliberate more on how it can impact us in Africa. So I'll start with healthcare. When it comes to healthcare, think of drug discoveries. Think of diagnostics in the hospitals. Think of assisted surgeries and patient analysis. We did a project for Oyo State Physiotherapy Association on people who are suffering from upper limb dysfunction. How can AI be used to understand the progress they are making? Because if you use a physiotherapist regularly, I know they may complain, but they will charge you per hour. If a physiotherapist is to come and inspect you to see how you are recovering, you are paying enough per hour, maybe 40,000 naira, I don't even know now. But with AI, your walking posture, AI can tell if you are walking right or you are still maybe limping or slow in your movement. So AI can be used for automated recovery analysis. When we talk about drug discovery, there is so much experiments that need to be done, and they are very expensive. Sometimes they have to even play around with lab rats and so on. But how can we use AI to understand that if from our record, if this led to this result, how can we determine what the other result will be without having to do the experiment all over? In the area of industries, think about customer behavior analysis. A colleague was talking to me about a bank in Nigeria that every year they spend 320 million naira traveling across various branches to understand how customers are being attended to, whether it's good or whether there's a lack of attention to the customers. And he now said to them, why do you have to travel to all your branches to go and do explicit data collection? Where you enter and say, excuse me, have you attended to you on time? Is everything going well? Do you have any problems? Then who's attending to you? No need for that, he said. You have CCTVs in the bank. Let's just run some computer vision algorithm. So for every face that enters the bank, we'll calculate how long it takes before they leave the bank. And then any bank that seems to be spending so much, keeping customers in the bank for so much time, those are the banks you will go to for your yearly review. And that saved them so much millions of naira. In the area of recruitment, you're looking for the best hands. Of course, human factor is always there. How can we eliminate human factor and allow AI to sift through the CVs and determine who to employ? In the area of advertisement, marketing, and so on, AI can do a role there. When it comes to business, managing businesses, there is something we call workflow automation. Workflow automation is about getting the next task to the right person without any human being involved. So that means that if we are all in a factory right now, and maybe this group here is involved in maybe collecting the parcel collecting the order from the client, this group is in charge of building the design, doing the design, they build, and they probably finish up and package it. There will be an alert to each person here, whoever is not busy, a client has come, go to so person. When the person is done, he clicks done on his own app, then it tells him, go and give it to so person on the app. So the app is the one that knows who is free and who is not free, who is busy and who is not busy, who is slow and who is not slow. So with automation, it moves your document or your job, the task, from one person to another, and everybody gets a task. A company in Abuja is involved in field works for telecommunications, and they are adopting workflow automation. So when staff go to a particular site to inspect, they click something and it shows the location. So that when you are tracking how we managed this job, how we spent money on travels and co, to determine the price per hour for human work hours, the app is there to give them all that data. In the area of cybersecurity, financial operations and co, AI is very critical there. Then finally, in the area of governance, you see, I was talking to lawyers some months ago when they had their 70th anniversary, and I said to them, when it comes to electoral malpractices, fine, the court will tell you, go and verify all the ballot papers. How can, within 180 days that the law provides, you go through so many electoral documents, ballot papers, to see which fingerprint is consistent in almost all the ballot papers, or which ones were counted even when they were not valid? So the point is, with AI, you can quickly scan images. So how about we build machines that can quickly scan so many ballot papers and count, so that when there is a faulty one, it moves aside. So it's those ones the lawyers can take to court and say, this is the proof. But most times we don't do that. So technology can still help in that, as well as in the area of feedback from the users in the community, using AI. Maintenance of infrastructure, telecommunication masts, power supply, power masts, all these towers, they get vandalized, they fall down maybe due to wind or something. With AI, we can also determine all of these things. I don't want to go into detail, the paper is there. Now, national security, kidnapping is still the order in some areas in Nigeria, militancy, bunkerings and co. With AI, we can provide some level of security in areas that government is not very present, using drones, CCTV footages, and other kinds of surveillance. In the area of healthcare, with patient record management systems, AI can help understand each person's medical concerns. So, for instance, now not many people like to go to the hospitals to express their concerns. They like to go on Google to search. Well, I wouldn't say AI is the doctor here, but at least it can tell you its own understanding and then say to you, please go and see a doctor. But beyond that, medical records, so that when you go to one hospital, your record is there, even when you have never been to that hospital before. Recently, University of Ibadan deployed an electronic medical record system so that patients' history can be recorded and it can help the doctor to understand the diagnostics to give. In the area of economic development, AI also has a huge role to play. But what are our strengths in Africa? We have a youth and a tech-savvy population. We also have governance in that area of AI. The government is involved now in the area of NIDA, NIRA, NASDA, Galaxy Backbone, NCARE. These are government agencies that are looking at how they can support AI growth in Nigeria. Not every country is blessed to have the government supporting the AI drive. We also have Nigeria as a giant of Africa, at the central part of innovation in Africa, so that's a strength for us. We have significant economic potentials based on our GDP. That means that if we need to invest, we have the funds. If we need to sell and make money from the business, the market is out there. If we can reduce importations. We have an existing digital data bank of our citizens, BVN, NIN, PVC, passport, and so on. These are all available data banks we can harmonize. We also have a bubbling software development community, Paystack, Flutterwave, so many apps that are built by Nigerians, even though unfortunately they're not owned in Nigeria, they are owned in the US. We also have access to internet, and the federal government is also doing optic fiber cables across the 774 local governments. So that means that if you have an AI solution and you need to place it in a village, hopefully there will be internet coverage there. But what's our weakness? Low energy. Power supply is a big challenge. Well, we can probably resort to renewable energy solutions. High insecurity levels in some states deter investment. For example, rain is in Ibadan, my company, and people say, come to Benue. They say, come to the north. And I'm thinking, if I go there, am I safe? Because we think about the road. It's not every time we go by flight. It's about the expressway. Are we safe traveling back and forth? Inadequate network coverage. There are some places in Nigeria, even within Lagos, for example, that network is really poor. Academia may be inadequately prepared to train AI experts. That's another question. Who is retraining our trainers? Lecturers, universities want to start training on AI, but how do they upskill their own staff? Where do they go to? Should they learn on YouTube? Insufficient collaboration and awareness between businesses and academia. Abroad, in foreign countries, it is the industry that will encourage the academia to go into a particular area. They will fund laboratories, they will fund research that will upskill the academia. But here in Nigeria, the industry is on one side, academia is on the other side, and there is not enough cohesion. Then there is a poor, perspective about what AI can do. There is also a very huge disconnect among data centers. You have one record here, and they tell you, everybody go and register for this again. Nothing like, oh, we already have your details. That is not only in government, even in private sectors. MTN, Glo, Airtel would not share data. As a researcher, try to ask them for data. They'll give you a long form to fill and they'll still give you data that is not relevant to you. Because they don't know what you want to do with it. Opportunities for us if we adopt AI, I'll just mention two. We have the potential to be a regional leader in AI. And we also can help our processes like governance, court processes, and so on, if we adopt AI. What are the threats? You see, if we're not careful, AI will still grow, but we'll all be consumers. And that's why I worry greatly when the government says we've invited Microsoft to come and train us on AI. We've invited Google to come and train us on AI. They will only train you on how to use their software, on how to use their platforms. Why can't we develop our own model of trainings, not based on foreign partners? There's also the proliferation of data collecting softwares. Most people don't understand that all these apps you see today are collecting your data. They are collecting data about you. Do you know that I can build an app for, let's just say, a calculator app, and I'm collecting all your browsing history? You think you're just tapping calculator on your phone, but it's doing other things because it's just Java. Even all your tappings, what you are clicking, it's recording. Any app can record that. Do we have a body in Nigeria that is going through and deciding which apps to allow and which apps to disallow? In some other countries, you can't just install any app. Some apps are banned because the government doesn't know what these apps are doing to their citizens. We also have the problem of fear of AI taking over our jobs. And like I would tell, when we had, I think a week ago, there was the World Health and Safety Day, and I said that if people think AI will take over our jobs, it's okay as long as it takes away our job and restores our lives. Because I'm thinking about those who have to go to hazardous places, confined spaces, to do work that we don't want to do, the dirty works. So we think about those people and say, okay, AI can take over those jobs. There is the growing debate about ethical concerns. People thinking that who owns the data, who is responsible if AI makes a wrong decision. And that is still a threat. It's kind of delaying the adoption of AI in more sectors. Then finally, the issue of digital divide. If we all decide to use AI, then those who are not digital will not have access to it. How affordable are mobile phones today? How affordable is the internet in Nigeria? How affordable do we even have wireless, Wi-Fi in public spaces? So if AI is the order of the day, some people might be disenfranchised. So how can we leapfrog? Sir, how many minutes? 7 minutes, thank you. How can we leapfrog? How can we scale over these hurdles I've just mentioned? We must prioritize education, and that's why I think that every institute of learning must inculcate AI in their curriculum. I was at the national conference in Owerri 2 weeks ago when it was said that AI is making students lazy. It's making students cheat in assignments. And I understand because I myself, it was read, I was a lecturer and I had to read through students' research projects and their write-ups. I could easily tell when it's ChatGPT, the pattern is the same. It will just end every long paragraph with a name and a year. I'm like, why is it? This is just how I wrote it. That's not how you wrote it. Even though at the conference in Owerri, I ended up teaching them how to use AI so that nobody would know it was AI. I'm sorry about that. I'm confessing. But here's the thing. We challenged lecturers at that conference that don't let your questions be the type AI can easily help. Let your questions be the ones that even the students will end up teaching the AI. For example, and I said, if you talk about real life issues and don't specify the aspect of the curriculum that this question is under, don't say, because the way we ask questions in universities, the first question will let you know which part of your notes they are talking about. You will see, define artificial intelligence. That lets you know that, okay, it was a class we had on so day. Number 2, give 2 applications of AI. Number 3, discuss the implication of that. What the student already knows that this is AI. So, this is the AI topic we did in class. Let your questions be more realistic. For example, Mr. A and Mr. B went somewhere. The gate opened for Mr. A, but didn't open for Mr. B. Despite the fact that Mr. A has been to that place several times and Mr. B has been, or maybe owns the place. What could have been the reason? And give 3 reasons why they should not be allowed in society. Blah, 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 blah. Then the students would, even if they use AI might give a totally irrelevant material and they might be, no, this is not what I want. I said, talk about AI. Then the AI will now say, oh, do you mean this? Yes, now, because we were taught that AI can be defined as this. Oh, yes, sorry. So given in UK, I didn't say UK now. I said Nigeria. So that way the students will have to give more detail, and before you know it, he will be the one writing his material. AI will just fine-tune the way he's writing it. Secondly, I said, because I went to a conference for mechanical engineers, and they mentioned something. They said, mechanical engineers are using AI now, and it's scaring the teachers. When they say, go and draw a structure of a bridge that can carry this kilograms or tons of load, there's another AI platform they will go to that will generate the image for them, and they submit. And the lecturer said, they are missing some vital parts in that design that can lead to disaster in the future. So what's the solution to this? Now, I thought about it very deeply and I said, AI has come to stay. You can't stop people from using it. Think about the actual engineers today using that kind of AI to design bridges. We're in trouble. So I said, let's train our students to be able to detect when the result is wrong. Not to go and find the result. So that means next time, sir, don't tell them design a bridge that can carry so kilograms of load. Give them 1,000 pictures of different designs and say which one is right. Only one picture here is correct. You will see them checking each picture. This one looks correct, this one looks correct. They will have to now use their critical thinking ability to say the reason this is wrong is because it missed out this, it missed out that. So in the real world, when they start using AI, they too can detect when the AI is hallucinating. So that way, we are training our people to be more supervisors than just technical people. We have to boost public awareness as much as possible. This is a convention. You've all come from different parts of the country. When you go back, see how you can disseminate the information about AI. Let people know that it's okay to be worried that AI can be dangerous, but we must take control and decide which side of the sword we want to use. Thank you, sir. We must promote mentorships and let's improve our infrastructure in the country. That's something government is doing anyway. How do we address the fears, the ethical dilemmas? Let me just go straight to my conclusion. In conclusion, leveraging AI empowers African institutions and businesses to optimize resources, increase speed, and understand the needs of the people and the markets more effectively. By employing data analysis, predictive analytics, and automation, organizations and governments can adapt quickly to changing dynamics and deliver better services and personalized experiences. This is essential for competitiveness and success in a rapidly evolving landscape. With a generation increasingly comfortable with technology, facing increasingly complex challenges, the world and Africa in particular needs AI solutions and experts more than ever before. Here's the problem. Brain drain keeps taking our experts away. The best Nigerian cybersecurity experts are not in Nigeria. The best AI experts are not in Nigeria. And even if they are in Nigeria, they are working remotely for countries abroad. Go to them and say, please, can you work for me? They'll tell you, sorry, I have 9-to-5 job. I do it online. One of them posted on his social media that, I don't want to use the word he used, but he just said, it's not right, it's not sensible anymore to work for a Nigerian company when you can easily work abroad in Nigeria. So, Africa needs AI solutions and experts. This presents tremendous opportunities for professionals who embrace them early and seek collaboration. It is still not too late to join the revolution. Upskill yourself now. Embrace the challenge, guided by faith, as the rector said, ethics, and a commitment to responsible innovation for the betterment of all humanity, especially here in Africa. Thank you for listening.